There is Edward Kelly, who was pardoned for assaulting police at the U.S. Capitol, but who is now fighting another case. In November, a jury convicted him of conspiring to murder the FBI agents who investigated his J6 participation. No shot. I firmly believe this is the craziest title that we've gotten out of Trump's second term so far, and it's a perfect microcosm of how his term is going. The Wall Street Journal just published an article that says January 6 rioters argue that their pardons apply to additional charges, including a murder plot and child. You're joking. Defendants argue that Trump pardons should absolve them of additional crimes, some discovered during investigations of the Capitol riot. I've covered a few of these stories so far. One January 6 rioter was immediately rearrested on gun charges. Another one was immediately taken back in on child porn charges. And then another one got into a deadly gunfight with a police officer actually really close to my hometown in Indiana. None of these are funny, but they are quite ironic. It's ironic that you pardon somebody for beating the shit out of police officers, and then they go back and do it again, and it causes their death. So I want to break down this story because it only gets wilder as I read it. But first, I want to loop it perfectly into the Trump administration also pressuring Romania to lift restrictions on the Tate brothers. Those Tate brothers, Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, who have been accused of sex trafficking, of locking women in their basement and stealing their passports so they can't escape Romania. Andrew Tate openly said on camera he moved to Romania and began conducting his business there because they have more lax sex trafficking laws, meaning they're more relaxed with their laws. Tristan and Andrew Tate have been charged with sexual misconduct, organized crime, and money laundering, and now the Trump admin is trying to pressure Romanian authorities to lift travel restrictions and to take it easy on the dudes who repeatedly brag about sex trafficking underage women. And we don't know why the Trump admin is so obsessed with them. It could be because Trump's kids want the Tate brothers to be free. Maybe Donald Trump Jr. or Barron Trump, they have a relationship with these people. We don't exactly know why. But the Trump admin is pressuring Romanian officials to lift travel restrictions on the self-described misogynist influencer Andrew Tate, a champion of the U.S. president who is facing criminal charges in Bucharest. Andrew and his brother Tristan Tate, who are dual U.S.-UK nationals, have become a right-wing social media stars and have been arrested in Romania in 2022 and charged with human trafficking, sexual misconduct, and money laundering. I mean, wow, really the party of family values. Just to recap their rape charges, according to court documents, investigators identified 7 women who said the brothers misled them into believing they wanted a relationship, only to lure them to Romania and basically lock them in their compound. The brothers have denied the accusations, but there's a lot of evidence. There are recordings, and the Tate brothers have gloated themselves on camera that they would manipulate women and make money off of them. They sold a course on how to do this, and now Trump wants to help them, wants to help free them in the same way that he frees January 6 rioters. I mean, how can MAGA supporters claim that Trump is a good person or that Trump associates himself with good people when he's surrounded by, I mean, we can look at Matt Gaetz, we can look at RFK Jr., who has credible accusations, but we can also look at Jeffrey Epstein. Trump was really good friends with Jeffrey Epstein. By the way, make sure you drop a like and subscribe, but let's continue. A 4th person said a request was made to return the brothers' passports and allow them to travel while they wait for court proceedings to conclude. And the Tate's case was first brought up by U.S. officials in a phone call with the Romanian government last week, and then followed up by Trump's special envoy, Richard Grenell. So the Trump admin followed up on this. They followed up on it, and again, they are telegraphing that if you are loyal to the president, if you are loyal to Trump, then you don't get the justice that you deserve. It's absolutely wild. And it's just because Tate is a vocal supporter of Trump and may or may not be friends with Trump's sons that his sex trafficking and his manipulation of young women gets, it's fine. I don't understand how Trump gets away with this, but let's read this one. January 6 rioters argue that pardons apply to charges including a murder plot and child porn. I can't believe this. Less than a month after receiving pardons for participating in the January 6th attack on the Capitol, some former defendants find themselves in a familiar place, back in court, facing other criminal charges. There is Edward Kelly, who was pardoned for assaulting police at the U.S. Capitol, but who is now fighting another case. In November, a jury convicted him of conspiring to murder the FBI agents who investigated his J6 participation. No shot. With evidence that he had a kill list of targets. Dude, you pardon somebody who, number one, beat the shit out of police officers. Number two, tried to disrupt a peaceful transfer of power and stop our proceedings from going on. And then after you pardon them, they create a kill list of FBI agents. And then Trump just allows these people back on the street. Kelly now argues that that conviction should be tossed out too because of Trump pardoning him. The Tennessee man believes that Donald Trump's blanket pardon covering, quote, offenses related to events that occurred at or near the Capitol on January 6th should extend beyond that day and extend to his kill list of FBI agents. It is just insane. Other defendants are similarly arguing that they should be absolved of other alleged crimes, such as illegal gun possession and child pornography, discovered during the January 6 investigations. At least one defendant has died in a post-pardon altercation with police. I mentioned him earlier. And weeks after the pardon that freed hundreds of prison inmates, literally emptying the prisons into our streets, and ended remaining cases that were winding through the courts, life is far from settled for a large contingent of the defendants. This month, dozens of defendants joined forces on X to compile and publicize the names of at least 124 people who had a hand in their convictions. Quite a terrifying thing to do, to compile a list of names of our FBI agents. Mainly prosecutors, but also a few judges and FBI agents, a review by the Wall Street Journal found. The post of names, with at least 60,000 views, included photos and disparaging remarks and demands for accountability. By accountability, they mean, threatening judges and their families. On January 27th, county prosecutors in Houston announced a manhunt for Andrew Take, not Andrew Tate, Andrew Take, a pardoned January 6th defendant who was being sought on a 2016 charge of online solicitation of a minor. Again, these are the types of people that Trump is emboldening in our society, and I've read certain articles that say there may be a renaissance of right-wing militias popping up over the next few years because people feel more emboldened now than ever to take action. Right-wingers can go and can endlessly justify their violence because, hey, the president will just pardon us. Andrew Take had been serving a 74-month prison sentence after pleading guilty to violence at the Capitol. Prosecutors say he sprayed police officers with bear spray 4 separate times and struck one with a metal whip. And Trump just let this guy go. And then also will say that he's for law and order, and he wants to be the unity president. The Harris County DA's office said it has asked federal prison officials to hold the 36-year-old, but instead, he was just let out of a Colorado facility on January 20th after Trump's pardon, and is now arguing that the pardon extends to his child solicitation, or his online solicitation of a child. Quote, rearresting individuals like Taki who were released with pending state warrants will require significant resources, said the DA's office. And Taki was finally tracked down on February 6th. So it's just Trump is using up police resources that could be used elsewhere, that could be used on new criminals, to then rearrest people that he pardoned. He is emptying the prisons into our streets, and it's disgusting. I'll leave it at that. Drop a like, subscribe. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.